I'm going to start with this drill where we're practicing the scale changes of trig functions. My first step is always to draw that new axis. And let's see, it looks like it goes up 6 and down 6 here. So it looks like the axis actually just stayed right here. Okay. And then I want to go ahead and I want to label my key points. And let's see, I'm going to say for the top two, we're just going to do cosine. And for the bottom two, we're just going to do sine, rather than doing both. So what I need to do is I do need to figure out what my scale change is. And on my y, because I'm 6 up and I'm 6 down, my scale change on the y is going to be a 6. And because my cosine curve still starts at the top and goes down and back up, it is a positive 6. So I know my scale change is 6y. Now to figure out my x scale change, I need to remember that 2 pi times b equals the period, and 2 pi times what is my scale change equals, looks like to have a full cosine curve is 4 pi, so b must be 2. That's what actually happens. So 2x is what actually happens. So that's my scale change, which means when I go to write my equation, it's going to be y equals 6 times the cosine of x divided by 2. Since x lies in the equation, it's multiplied in the scale change, therefore it's divided in the equation. Let's go to my next graph. And for my next graph, again, I'm going to check, and I see that I'm 4 up and 4 down. My axis has stayed right here. And since I'm just doing a cosine graph, I'm going to go ahead and label those key points. Which I guess I didn't really have to, since I'm only doing cosine. I've just kind of started getting in the habit of doing that. And when I look at this, I see if cosine is my graph, here's my cosine curve, but it's upside down, which means I'm going to have a negative y scale change. So I'm going to have negative, and since it's 4 up and 4 down, negative 4y. And then I look at my full cosine curve, and it just takes 2 pi, so there was no change on the x. Therefore, my equation is y equals negative 4 times the cosine of x. Okay, let's go to my next graph. And again, I'm just doing sine. I've just kind of gotten used to always drawing in an axis. And it's 2 above and 2 below. And I like to label all my key points. That will help me for when I'm doing this, when I do have a translation. And this right here is my sine curve that I can look at. And my scale change, see, it's not upside down, so it's a positive. And because it's 2 up and 2 down, that would be 2y. And 1 full period is pi. So 2 pi times b, which is my x scale change, equals pi. So So I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. And b equals 1/2. So 1/2 x. Therefore, my equation is y equals 2 times the sine. Since 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2, I'm going to multiply by 2, like that. Let's go over here to this graph. And let's see, 3 up, 3 down. This would be my axis. These are my key points. Just doing this for practice, even though on this particular one I didn't need it. It's good practice for me. And it's the sine curve, so I'm just going to look at this one right here. Notice it's upside down, so it is going to be a negative on the y, and it's 3 up and 3 down, so negative 3y. Then for my x scale change, full period is pi, so 2 pi times b equals pi. Same thing as I had over here, so b is 1/2. Therefore, my equation is y equals negative 3 times the sine of 2x. That's my drill for scale changes of trig functions.